Hello, everybody. Well, normally this should work fine. We tested it beforehand. So thank you for inviting me and the European Palm Oil Alliance to present. I think some of the issues that we are dealing with in Europe are very much reflected in Asia at the moment. So I welcome the opportunity. Maybe before I start, tell a little bit about myself. I worked in a lot of food manufacturing companies. My background is a nutritionist, and I worked, for example, for the fats and oils and nutrition related topics where palm oil was used to replace trans fats in food products. And when they asked me to join the Palm Oil Alliance, I was really wondering how much effort and time this would take. Well, that is now 7 years ago, and I'm still there, and I learned a lot, especially on sustainability. So we've been focusing on sustainability from the last 5-6 years. And I also can explain, hopefully, a little bit how difficult the position of sustainable palm oil is in Europe, but also how important it is to get out of the emotion and into the fact-based. And the previous speakers have done a great job, and we welcome the publication that was shared with you just now during the lunch. So let me share my screen. So maybe I go to what the European palm oil is. We are an alliance of frontrunners in sustainable palm oil. We work with with palm oil refiners and palm oil producers, and we now also look to food companies to join us. We think and we believe that palm oil is a key ingredient for food, feed and oleochemicals, and it's a very sustainable product. So we think it's highly relevant to protect biodiversity, to halt deforestation, and to improve socio-economic development in the countries of origin. We have come a long way, and our members are committed to supply and consume certified sustainable palm oil, mainly through the RSPO commitment, but also to the NDPE commitments. And we report yearly on this in an extensive report. And I can share the link also with you if you are interested. We also support the ISPO and the MSPO certifications in all our communications with the European Commission and with our outreach to the European Parliament, because we feel that this is a very important step towards a more sustainable supply chain. And we're not alone. If you look at the members, they're limited, mainly based on refiners and palm oil producer organizations. But we work with the Amsterdam Declaration Partnership. That's a government organization that now comprises of 9 countries that have signed the partnership, among others on sustainable palm oil. We work with the International Trade Initiative that are cooperating and a co-founder of our organization. But here you see the countries in green that have an initiative that supports sustainable palm oil. And behind all these initiatives, there are many companies, food companies, pharmaceutical companies, oleochemical companies, but also constructive NGOs and governments. So we're not alone on this. And on the right side of the screen, you can see and you will be able to find all these initiatives in the different countries. And why is this important? Because each country in Europe has a different culture, a different language, a different way of eating, a different way of living, and they all have their own perspective of palm oil. It's very emotional, and I think what we can conclude is that in Europe, we're not dealing with facts, we're dealing with emotions. And what we need to change is to regain the trust in palm oil, because if we look at the facts, we see there is a place for palm oil. And the only way to improve it is to move from palm oil to sustainable palm oil. And these are all the organizations that are currently supporting us. So what do? We do a lot of external meetings, we do internal meetings and alignment, we do face-to-face meetings and outreach to food companies, to European Commission delegates, to NGO organizations. So we do a lot of communication and we openly discuss the facts, but also the issues that need to be addressed. What I just shown you was the yearly Sustainable Palm Oil Dialogue, in which we invite speakers. And last year we had Mrs. Astrid Schoonmaker from the European Commission on Environment. So I think we do a great job in getting these people together. We also developed a lot of fact-based information, and they're not just for us or for Europe. If you want, you can also use this information. We heard communication on nutrition. So we developed a lot of communication on nutrition and health. We also developed short videos that explain briefly how it works. We have information and fact sheets on deforestation, on forest fires. We have short stories. We have a website full of information that we regularly update, but we also have and support the Sustainable Palm Oil Choice platform that we actually run together with Solidaridad and the International Trade Initiative. We also took to social media because we feel a lot of the misconceptions and the trust issues are originating from an echoing of misconceptions at the social media. We were already working with Twitter and LinkedIn, and now recently we went on to Instagram and Facebook, which is where the general public mostly finds its information. And where I think 7 years ago, I was really shocked to learn that some of the consumers think for palm oil, you need to crush the tree and then take the juice and throw away the tree. We now at least have a more balanced understanding of the issues at stake. There's still a number of issues that are very important to stakeholders and consumers in Europe. And here you see a study, a consumer understanding study that is run by Kantar already for several years and in several countries. They also perform outside of Europe, but I only show the data for Europe. And we see that with all the joint efforts, with all the alliances and the cooperation, we see stabilization of the negative image of palm oil in Europe, which I feel is very important because that creates trust, and then you can really start to talk about the facts and the importance of sustainable palm oil. We also do a monitoring report. So we show the progress and developments in palm oil in general and in sustainable palm oil in particular. We came a long way for the sustainable palm oil uptake in Europe. You can see here now that we are at 90% of certified sustainable palm oil that enters Europe for food, feed, and oleochemicals. And I think that's a big achievement. But what we also see is that some companies are still confronted with the bad image of palm oil in Europe, and where they were initially one of the front runners in changing the supply chain and choosing sustainable palm oil and investing in sustainable palm oil, some of them are considering to move out, and we're really trying to change that. So we work, as I mentioned, with Solidaridad. On this picture, you can also see Maya Slingeland. That was just one of the speakers previously. And we try to give experts we heavily depend on experts to tell the story. We want to do everything fact-based and then really build on the knowledge every time there's new publication or new development. And here with the Sustainable Palm Oil Choice platform, we work together with some other food companies, NGOs, but also, for example, with zoos. Chester Zoo is a prominent zoo that initiated the Chester City Sustainable Palm Oil City Challenge, which is now copied in the UK and even outside of the UK in Barcelona. That means that the whole city adopts the sustainable palm oil supply chain, and all the suppliers and all the restaurants and all the companies and organizations in that city will choose sustainable palm oil. There's also school education programs involved. So it's a very interesting move to change the perception in a whole city, and then also considering all the supply chains that move into that city. Here are some of the results on social media. even I didn't realize that with so little effort you can reach so many people. I think for next year, or for this year, we now change to this year, we have an ambition to reach 55 million million impressions. That means that people will view or like or retweet some of the information that we share. And I invite all of you, because this is not limited to Europe, to also go to these social media channels and help us spread all the information. And if you have information that you would like to share and that we can share within our boundaries, then we're happy to do so. I just wanted to mention that we're not alone. It's not just some experts or some renowned scientists. That we also have some very famous scientists that support sustainable palm oil. You must all have heard of Sir David Attenborough and Jane Goodall. And that actually helps tell the stories to some stakeholders that are persistently negative in their image of palm oil. I feel it's very important to tell the complicated truth about sustainable palm oil. It's not a simple story. There's health aspects, there's economic aspects, there's sustainability aspects. Sustainability is viewed differently by many people. There's deforestation, forest fires, so many things to tell. But I think we have an obligation, because sustainable palm is so important. It's so big in this world. And if we want to, with the increasing demand of fats and oils globally, I think there's only one solution, and that's sustainable palm oil. Yes, we know there are alternatives to palm oil. We have coconut, we have rapeseed, we have sunflower. And I think from a health and a planetary perspective, it's good to embrace that the diversity. But at a global scale, within our planetary boundaries, I think there's only one alternative for palm oil as we are now, and that's sustainable palm oil. So thank you very much. In case you have questions, you can always reach us through our website. There's also an email address, or if you want, I think there's a panel afterwards where you can ask questions. So thank you very much.